Welcome, guys. Welcome. The 1 week left for Christmas. So you got one more week. There we go. So I will actually do something on Christmas Day, or for the Christmas stream anyway. I don't know what it'll be. I don't know if it'll be a ChatTactic or something different. So we've got Sithil here an hour ago. We've got Hi Jerry and Rogue and Bob and Michael. Saying greetings from Lake Constance, Daz. Thank you for that. So 1 week to go for 6 more sleeps for Christmas. So that's fairly exciting. I think it's the same for you. I'm on the 19th. You're on the 18th, aren't you? Anyway, next Monday it's Christmas Day. Hi Tenru, how you going? So anyway, we've got a bit to talk about today, which is great. Next week, I don't know what will be happening around the Christmas time, so I don't know if I'll do a chat tactic or just play some games. I've actually got a surf patrol that morning. Actually, it's not. I'm doing Christmas morning, but it's Boxing Day for me that day. So, in my patrol that I'm on is actually rostered on that morning. So, whatever it'll be, it'll probably start earlier next week and finish earlier than what it normally does because I'll need to get away early. So we're going to sing hello and goodbye. Just been told the missus that I need to go and run a Christmas-related errand. Be back in a bit. Okay, see you, Silvercole. Hi, Chris, saying good evening and nice to see you. So anyway, the giveaway today. We do actually have a giveaway. We've got Revival Recolonisation. And so Revival Recolonisation is a game that it came out, when did it come out? In June. So it's been out for about 6 months, and they've like you can see through here. Like I don't know why the recent reviews are 60%, but the all reviews are at 84%. So it's a game that sort of is fairly exciting. It's very much like a Civ type game. So we'll have a bit of a look at this now, and then we'll that'll be the giveaway for later on. When we finish the actual stream itself. So it's currently in early access now. The key was given to me, and I forget what the reason was. I meant to look it up before I actually, before I did it. I got the key, but I've already had the game. So I said, "Oh, can I give the key away?" But there was a reason for it, and I can't find what that is. Where is it? Where is it? There was a reason for it. I don't think it was just these awards. This is the dates are too old for this. I should have double checked it. So anyway, let's have a look at the videos and. Yeah, so Revival Recolonisation, I haven't played it for very much, to be honest. It was one of these games that I was going to do videos on, and then I just never got back to it, essentially, at that time. But I like the look of it. It looked like it was sort of like going to be something that was very much along this Civ sort of style of game. Had a bit of a interesting slant. We'll just go to the next video as well. I'm not sure what this one is. This is a bit longer.
The year is 3315. You've just woken.
Here we go. Well,
Woken from cryosleep, and the world has gone to shit. I meant drastically changed. Taking control of your surroundings is key to surviving in the world of Revival Recolonization, a turn-based strategy game set on post-apoc Earth. You play as an emissary, one of the few who remember what our planet looked like before disaster struck. Now, it's your job to lead humanity towards progress. All for the goal of enjoying a well-cooked burger with fries. Pick from an assortment of tribes, each with different traits and bonuses. They might not look it, but survivors of the terrible catastrophe have adapted to this strange world quite well. Your tribe prefers living in a temperate climate. If you force your people to expand to regions with different climates, they will gradually lose health and become displeased with their new commander. Unfortunately, the cataclysm has really made a mess of the planet's surface, so the town you've founded is surrounded by hostile land. It's time for you to launch an edict and morph the landscape into something more pleasant. Edicts are what's left of the almost miraculous technology that humanity possessed back in the glory days. Use them to destroy mountains and buildings, to lower or raise land, melt ice, reduce gravity, and even possess units outside of your faction. But remember, other emissaries can launch edicts too. And you know what they say about payback. All this activity has attracted the attention of the All-Mind, a maniacal artificial intelligence that rebelled and caused a cataclysm all those years ago. The icon turning red indicates that the All-Mind has released a wave of automatons, mindless cyborg killing machines. If you don't stop them, they'll activate one of All-Mind's unique edicts, like a zombie invasion or a wall of fire that will eventually engulf the whole planet. What the poor sods don't know is that you've discovered a rare resource on the map and have been mining it for quite a while. Now would be a good time to equip the regular brutes and archers with a few nifty toys, and bring ballistic-carrying elephants as your backup. Let's put them to work. Enemy units can be knocked back by shields, disoriented by protective equipment, or paralyzed by electric arrows. Terrain type also plays an important role in combat, offering various kinds of cover and visibility bonuses. Once you've dealt with the automaton threat, you have time to worry about other problems, like the fact that your pesky neighbor is spreading rumors about your faction among the other tribes. Handle them as you wish. You can be civil and attempt to win the favor of the emissary in question, or you can always go to war. Whatever the method, other emissaries and tribes will react accordingly. Eventually, your small tribe will turn into a sprawling empire, evolving through 4 distinct epochs, all the way to futuristic weaponry with devastating effects. But be warned, rapid expansion may lead to an unhappy population who raise banners of rebellion and betrayal. Lots of betrayal. And that concludes this overview of Revival, Recolonization, a turn-based strategy game where both you and the AI can drastically change the world and the rules of engagement. Say yes to meaningful replayability. Wishlist the game now on Steam.
So that does give a very good overview of what the game actually is. You can see there it's Civ. It's basically got the different epochs. I think he called it epics. He meant to say epochs. There's a high degree of smarm in that voiceover, I've got to say, which I don't think suits the game. Like, it's sort of funny when I hear. I don't mind that style of presentation if the game is sort of tongue-in-cheek. But I don't know. Like this one looks. Anyway, I won't sort of get into it. But for me, the smarminess of the voice doesn't really sort of give you a good feel about what the game actually is about, which is very much about the reclamation essentially of the planet Earth after sort of like devastating wars, and we've got AIs and stuff running rampant. But it's very much a terraforming game. Where you sort of creating your own Eden, basically in a portion of the world, and then trying to expand from there. I tend to shy away from games that do actually go through different epochs, and that's probably the reason I didn't really spend much time with this particular game. But it actually, like when I see those, what the scope of the game actually is, it's really quite impressive. And I'm worried about this mixed reviews though. Like it's not very many reviews, but it's still mixed. So let's have a look and see what people are saying about it. First of all, let's have a look at the roadmap. So this is the early access roadmap. If you just read more and click on this one through here, actually that's the same one there, I think. So this is just basically sort of saying, today we wanted to tell you about Revival Recolonization Roadmap. Is our chance to show off. Now this was from a while back. This is from when the game actually released. And I'm not sure what's been added in at this stage. So there's a whole heap of stuff that is still coming, like early access, quality of life update. It may be that we're here at this point in time. I just can't recall. There's no news that was sort of released with this. There was an email, and I forgot to read it before I did the stream. I wish I had. Actually, I might quickly. I might just quickly open up my inbox and just see what the message was, because there was something that the devs did want to get across, and they've given us a giveaway key. So the least we can do is see what was written. I forgot what it was. Okay, here we go. So it says, I'll just read it out what they wrote to me. It says, "Greeting GalCiv. As a 4X strategy game with terraforming and zombies, Revival Recolonization is approaching its full release, and we invite you to try the latest version of the game, which offers full release for Revival Recolonization experience." Okay, so it's coming on the... There we go. That's the important thing. They've got it sort of hidden away, but it's coming out on the 20th of December now. Is there an embargo? No, there's no embargo. Okay, cool. So this is coming out in a couple of days' time, 3 days' time. So and this will be a version 1.0. So the key I have at this stage will unlock the early access version, but will then become the full release version in just a few days' time. Okay, so then I've got like a special way of accessing the advanced version, which I think I did on the day that I was checking it out. This is about a week ago that this actually happened, so that's why my brain has gone to mush with this one. The current version of the game offers all the features we plan to be putting out in the full release. New ways to achieve victory, an event system with dozens of different happenings that will affect the gameplay directly. And we've got naval and air units and the new emissary who is capable of taking over the rebellious automatons, and many more. So there we go. So that's the reason for it. I knew there was something big, but there was no information about it, which was quite funny, you know, like it's sort of quite strange that it's actually not, that there's not a big song and dance about it. Let's go back to the actual page. Let's not worry about the roadmap, because we now have, it looks like we've got all of those different things in there actually. So the whole roadmap has now been fulfilled, or it will be in a few more days' time. So we've got the enjoy unprecedented level of freedom. Yeah, this is sort of like the terraforming style of thing, progress through the ages. Which again, it's not something I love in games, to be honest. There's the 4 distinct epochs. Engage in tactical combat. I've got to say the tactical combat looked great in those videos. Explore Earth after a devastating cataclysm. There we go through there. So the reviews. Now, I personally find negative reviews where somebody has spent a fair bit of time with the game the most valuable, for good and bad. Like it'll tell you. Often you get a feel for what they're looking for in the game and why it may or may not apply to you. 3.1 hours, it's not really a hell of a lot, is it? So, nice game for Civ fans. Tutorial is hopeless, doesn't explain things. Now, this is recent, so this is within 2 weeks. Doesn't explain things at all, really, and constantly crashes. I haven't played it long enough to really sort of experience any crashes. So how do you learn new concepts? Well, you don't. As such, at present, I cannot recommend it. Maybe in the future, maybe. All right, so I don't know. Like that one wouldn't turn me off the game, to be honest. As things currently stand, this was in June. That was release. Yeah, very thorough, but it's positive. Give me a negative. Give me a negative. Okay, here we go. This is actually a positive one, but it's only 2.5 hours. But it's a very interesting project. It feels like Fantasy Wars, Heroes of Might and Magic, King's Bounty, and Civilization in one game. That's a nice combination, I've got to say. Fantasy Wars, if it's the one I'm thinking of, is it the one I'm thinking of? I think it is. That became Warlock. So I think that's where Fantasy Wars was sort of like a cut down version of Warlock. There was another one as well where they went through a series of different games. Let's have a look and see what it says now that this is one of these little tangents that I do enjoy going off on. If it's the one I'm thinking of, Fantasy Wars is this is the one, I'm pretty sure. Fantasy Wars on Steam. Let's just have a quick look at this one through here. So this will be old, 2010, and so this was Inoco, and so Fantasy Wars became something else. Actually, it may have been, was it Rogue something initially? But this was Fantasy Wars, a turn-based strategy game set in a fantasy world, combining both classic strategy gameplay and sophisticated 3D graphics. Players can experience epic battles like never before, taking place in a fantasy world of human kingdoms, etc., etc. From here, I'm pretty sure that there was something before Fantasy Wars. It was like Elf, some sort of like Elf War type thing, which was really cool as well. These were great games, but they weren't really all that fleshed out. Like you can see there, it's very positive, 88%. But this then becomes Warlock eventually. So Fantasy Wars ultimately doesn't tell you there. Maybe it's going to be in the... my mind's gone a bit blank through here. In fact, if we look at the publishing that they did, it'll probably sort of mention something about yeah, no, it's not really sort of seeing it. Any chance for another sequel? Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. This is now fairly old, so people aren't really playing the game at all anymore. This game is utter crap. Save your money. There we go. But no, this is a good game. But this becomes Warlock eventually. So if we have a look at the list of the developers, like if we go to Fulcrum Publishing, how many games does it actually have? It's got a lot of games that it actually does have that are coming. Let's go back to Innoco, because or we can just go straight to Warlock. Only one. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, where's Warlock then? Warlock, Warlock 2, The Exiled, there it is there. One of the best games, yeah, Innoco Plus. Okay, they added a plus to it. So this essentially Fantasy Wars, and there's another... It's like Rogue. It's like an Elvish Rogue type game, which again didn't really have good random maps. It was just literally the battle. You didn't have like a big aspect of it. And Fantasy Wars was a bit the same, but Warlock really was putting all of the best bits of Fantasy Wars into something that made sense. And I can see Warlock being like I can see the revival recolonization actually. That fits for me, Fantasy Wars / Warlock. It does sort of fit, really quite nicely in that description. But it's funny. This is mixed at 68%. But this is, if you play with the if you don't, I'm just going to go off on this tangent because this is important. This is a very, very important tangent. If you have Warlock 2, and if you can get it cheaply, you can see this is by Paradox Interactive actually. The Warlock 2. If you go to the Community Hub. And if we go to Workshop, there is a mod here, one of the best mods I've ever seen. It's this one here, the Renaissance mod. And if you grab Warlock, if you can find a way to get it cheaply and get all the DLCs, because you can't play this without the DLCs. But the Renaissance mod, like you can see through here, the description is the best thing, and this is accurate, the best thing next to a Warlock 3, essentially. It changes the game dramatically and very, very well. So I think the base game is worth around about a 60 or 70%. Like it's got a lot of problems, but this mod does such a lot to actually fix those problems up. And so Warlock is, like with the Renaissance mod, is one of the best games around. It's an oldish game, but God, it plays so well. This one adds in new races and all sorts of different things as well. It's really amazing. But you do actually have the DLC. You pretty much want to get all of the DLC, otherwise you can't use the Renaissance mod. So definitely would recommend this one, but that's coming back off what we're just looking at over through here. So that's enough of a tangent. Let's read a few more of the comments before we go back in. So hi Jemison and Victor. Chris is saying, always worry watching your streams, almost come away with a potential game to buy. And Chris is saying, by the way, you should check out Stellaris Nexus. It's not Stellaris, it's a different game based in the Stellaris universe. I've actually got it I contacted them after last week, actually, because it was mentioned last week. And I did contact them. I've got the game to try. I haven't actually got to it yet. I've been too busy this week with another very, very exciting game, which I'm not allowed to show, but I'm probably allowed to talk about to a large degree. So I'm going to be talking about that one today. I'll let you guess what you think that game might be. You'll find out very soon anyway. It's a game that isn't coming out until next year. Anyway, I'll leave you with that little clue. But I've been enjoying it absolutely thoroughly. Jerry's saying, been playing Decisive Campaigns Ardennes by Vic, enjoying it a lot. Yeah, so Ardennes Campaign, again, the developer of Shadow Empire. It's funny, I actually passed up playing any of the Decisive Campaigns games when they first came out. Even though I loved Vic's games up until that point, I thought, no, it's not random maps, so I'll give that one a miss. And so I'm kicking myself because it was probably a year after release that I actually eventually played it. And it's so impressive. It's got similar mechanics to Shadow Empire, but it really is tight. It's a really, really cool game. Extremely well done. The random maps aren't there, but the actual gameplay is brilliant for like having a World War II strategy game, or a war game type game. It's very, very cool. And Jerry's saying, anyone had any experience with Flashpoint Campaign Southern Storm? I've heard so many good things about it. I haven't actually played much of it, or any of it, I don't think. I don't even know if I've got it. Have a quick look and see. We have a look at Flashpoint Campaigns. There's that game I was just hinting at. Flashpoint Campaigns. Yeah, no, I don't actually have it. No, so I don't actually have it. But I have only heard good things about it. So that's something that... so I've only ever heard good things about Flashpoint Campaigns. So where are we up to? And Chris is saying this looks quite good actually. Yeah, it does look good. Revival Recolonization looks very interesting. The mechanics really, like I was really impressed with the mechanics of what they were trying to do. I just don't like the voiceover. The smarminess bothers me. Anyway, let's not go back there. Okay, so Benjamin is saying the animations look a bit stiff, but the gameplay looks good. Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. Jerry's saying Workers and Resources Soviet Republic looks really good as well. Also playing free demo interaction free zone, having a good time. Now Workers and Resources, I do want to talk about that game as well because that's releasing this week as well. There's a big update for that one as well. So there's a lot of stuff coming out this week, a hell of a lot, and that's one of them. Again, I've got that game to try. I haven't actually opened it up yet to actually play with it yet, but that does look very, very good. We'll have a look at that as well. And so Tenor is saying I really play early access games. I do. I like them. In fact, I really like them because for me, an early access game, as long as the developer doesn't abandon it, is an opportunity for players to be able to sort of direct the flow of where the game actually is going. And a real good case in point with that is Xenonauts 2, which had a big update about a week ago, and a milestone, essentially a week, I might talk about that as well, actually. I don't know if I did that one last week as well, but that's something that I've been having so much fun with that this week. And it's one thing I really like about what they did, because it's in early access, and people have complained that it's not really ready. Actually, I might come back to that one. I might actually open that one up and show what's going on. I've got some video recorded, which I haven't actually uploaded to YouTube yet, but I'll be putting out a video on that milestone because it really does. I love what they've done, and they could only do that milestone with early access, with the actual feedback from the playing public, which, again, I really applaud. Hi Battle Mode, how you going? Now, Battle Mode has been away on holidays, so I think you're back now, I'm assuming, or you're still away on holidays. Been travelling far and wide. Now, here we go. So, Nightbot's smacking Chris around. You want to dance? Stop spamming caps. So that's Battle Mode getting Chris into trouble now. This is what Battle Mode does. He sort of subverts the chat and causes issues for people and gets them in trouble with the Nightbot moderator. So Steve Rudolph saying hi, and Bob saying agree on that mod. It's a great recommendation on your part. It's a fantastic mod. The Renaissance mod, if I had to think of all of the great mods that I've played in different games, that'd be right up there. Right within the top handful. So yeah, Battle Mode's back from holidays. So there we go. So I'll have someone to pick on again now. All right, so now William Thomas is saying, lost my first Distant Worlds 2 game today. Oh, wow. Yeah, the AI in Distant Worlds 2 is pretty brutal, actually, I've got to say. Like, they're fairly unrelenting in so many different ways. So, you have to watch your back a little bit. You're just in saying that Kingdom, Dungeon, and Hero looks interesting. They're all different games, are they? I'm not sure what they are. Yeah, Brian, label us in saying Dominion 6. Is that what you were playing? Yes. I've been playing Dominion 6 pretty much all week, and in the part of the beta test. So I got onto the beta program, even though the game's coming out in exactly a month, actually. So we're 1 month away. But oh my God, that's there are so many good things in Dominion 6. It's really exciting. So it's going to be fantastic. That's going to be, it changes so much in the game. Like it really is exceptional. Anyway, that's coming. And they've done a great job. The changes, I haven't seen any changes that I don't like in Dominion 6. Everything, there's sort of changes where you think, I wonder, I didn't even think of that would be something that would have to be added in, but it's sort of, but when you look at it and start playing, you think actually that works really, really well. Everything sort of is like that with with this version of the game. It's really going to give it another big boost along. It's not just how between 4 and 5, there didn't seem to be a lot going on. There was with the user interface and the user experience, but it didn't feel like the game had actually progressed. It really feels like it now with Dominion 6, but in a good way. So it's still got the best of the old versions, but just with a few extra little bits and pieces. Now, there are a few other things with the Dominion 6 which I wish had been added in, just little user interface type things. And so that's something I would love to see, that certain things added in to make it easier for players. One thing I'm actually wanting to do with Dominions actually is to go through, and I don't know whether to do it as part of a live stream. It probably would be the best way to do it, is to literally go through each faction and rate them from like out of 5 stars in terms of how easy they are to play for new players. So you end up with like a 1 star being extremely difficult to play for a new player, up to 5 stars being middle-aged so you sort of end up with a rating system, which I thought that would be something I could have a crack at it myself, but I don't trust that I would have enough knowledge about all the different factions to be able to do that effectively. I'm thinking of doing that as a live stream at some point, and I can do that even with Dom 5, even before release. It's just something I thought would be helpful for players to actually have like a curated list of things. I was even thinking, can I put a list like that into my Discord somehow, and have people actually rate them so that they can actually be rated that way. I'm not sure how to do that yet, but it's something that I am actually wanting to do, because I'm already recording tutorials and stuff like that in advance of the release. I'm not allowed to put anything up until the release, but I'm having a lot of fun with Dominions at this stage. So, Bannerman saying he's back and annoyed the Japanese enough for 1 year. There we go. Hi, Hugh. How are you going? And so Rogue is saying, I'm glad to hear Dominion 6 is good. It's not just good, it's excellent. It really is. It's not perfect, but it is excellent. And the stuff that I would like to see added is stuff that I would have liked to see added in 4, 5, etc. as well. So it's just little things like, one of the things I would love to be able to do would be to highlight all of the sacred units, for example, when you're evaluating a faction, so you can sort of see, okay, well that or when you're looking at the list to recruit, to have like a button or some way of actually having like a glow that comes around the sacred unit. So if you're doing a blessed strategy run of Dominions, you can very quickly evaluate and see which units will be affected by the blessed strategy, which I thought would be cool. Just little things like that. Another thing that I think I'm allowed to talk about it. Roads. You still can't build roads in the actual game. You have to have them as part of your map right from the start, and that's something I would have hoped that those sorts of things were added back in. They were taken out. I think they were in taken out in 5 to a degree. You had different things. It became a bit awkward, but roads, I think, is something that could be important. You know, like that would be a great one to actually have in there. But anyway, that's something that hopefully at some point in the future that gets added in. But it is cool the way it sort of does work. So Battlemate's saying, yeah, that's encouraging to hear. Oh, it's really, really good. Ben, you're going to love it. You are going to love it. So you're just saying is it the one title that looks like Shadow Empire but in a fantasy setting? Yeah, it's that sort of level of complexity. It's a complex game. It's very unforgiving. Like it's an Iron Man mode game where you can't reload an old save unless you actually take a backup of your save file and then reload it back in. So it's sort of one of these things where it's not easy to learn through save scumming. It doesn't encourage save scumming at all. So Jonathan's saying, I'm very curious about these single player changes to the game. Yeah, it's more just the whole mechanics is really quite different in so many different ways. There's, God, I mean, I think I'm allowed to talk about all this stuff. I hope I am. One of the really exciting things for me, because I like building maps for Dominions, is that a bit like Conquest of Elysium, you now have multiple planes available to you. By default, the game now comes with 3 planes. You've got your main map mode. You've got your underground now as a separate plane. So you actually have the underground a cave is not just now part of the map on the surface. It's a whole other plane underneath that one with its own new map. There's a thing called Nexus, which is another area which doesn't sort of relate. But for map makers, they've got up to 8 different planes that they can then build maps for. And one of the really cool things about the map making as well, which I'm really, really interested in, is that it makes it more difficult to build maps. But essentially, you build a base map, then you build, like at the moment, when you're building a map, you build a base map and then you build a winter map. So you have that sort of where you've got like everything covered in ice or snow, and everything just without the actual ice or snow on it. That's in Dominions 5 basically. In Dominion 6, you need to have that map. You need to have the winter map. Then you need to have a forest map where everything is covered in forest, and that in a winter map. Then you need to have one where everything is a wasteland and in a winter map. Everything in water and a winter map. And so basically that's sort of showing that there's going to be terraforming somehow, which is really, really interesting again. So it's got all these different aspects to it now, which are fascinating. Like it's so expanded. Anyway, I better stop talking about it because I think I'm not allowed to show stuff, but I'm hoping I'm allowed to talk about it. Anyway, it's really, really exciting. It's really exciting stuff that's coming. And actually Ben's sort of saying that, or Battlemate's saying that diplomacy will change single player in a big way, I think. Absolutely. There's now what Battlemate's then talking about is essentially you are doing the what you've got is you've got a system now where when you send a message, you can send a specifically diplomatic message where you either ask for a non-aggression treaty or a declare war. And why this is important, even in single player, but particularly in multiplayer, is that there is a setting now that stops you from attacking if you haven't honoured your agreement. So you can actually play it where you have to give at least 1 turn's warning before you do an attack. Not so much in single player, but in multiplayer. That's going to stop a lot of issues that people have currently in multiplayer, where people do surprise attacks, which leaves some people angry and other people confused and things like this. And so that alone as well is going to be a big, big change, mainly in multiplayer though, I think. Actually been saying do it the other way around, with 1 star being easy and 5 stars being... That's a good way to do it, actually. That is a good way. Yeah, it is more intuitive. But I am thinking of doing that one. You could do an emoji poll on Discord. Yeah, mate, that's probably... They would have to do one for every single faction. And I think there's over 100 factions now. Like there's in the new Dom 6. And the old factions still play very much the same way. There are changes, but it's not... So some of the hard factions have been given a few advantages and vice versa. So they're trying to get a bit more balance, but it is really quite cool. Jerry's saying that's why no new videos. Yeah, I've been recording. I do actually have a video on the boat crew, which I mean to put up, and also a video on Xenonauts, which I mean to put up as well. So I've got those ready to go. I haven't processed them. I've just been recording Dom 6 stuff, to be honest. I've just been getting right into it. So hi Michael, how are you going? Still saying we just organised 10,000 games with at least 20 play in each to figure out how good all the nations are. Yeah, well, it's not how good they are. It's how easy they are to grasp, and that for me is the biggest thing with Dominions. Is when you're trying to recommend something to a new player. Regarding Dominions, it's not about how well that they play, whether you win a lot with them. It's about how easy it is to understand. I think it's a very important distinction, because when you don't understand, you can have the AI may be able to play a faction extremely well or extremely poorly, but it may not be. That may not relate to how easy it is for a new player to grasp the game. And in my head, I sort of know what I think the key factors are for that. So I've already been recording content around that sort of aspect about what to look for if you are a new player coming into Dominions, as in evaluating the actual factions. But it is one of those things. For example, if you've got basic giants in your faction, it's a fairly easy run no matter what you're doing at the start of the game. Anyway, I won't go into it in too much more detail, but that's something I do want to do. Jerry's saying, anyone excited for Field of Glory Kingdoms? Absolutely, but I think that's been delayed to sometime next year now. I'm not sure when. I haven't heard anything at all about it, which is, I thought it was going to be at the end of this year, but it's obviously not going to be the end of this year now. So I am looking forward to that one as well. Hi Flackhawk, how are you going? So Jemison saying to Dumas, and need to find a proper emoji for Agatha then. Silvica saying Christmas errands complete. There we go. So he's back again. I'm assuming it must be food related, I would imagine. Although that's pretty too far out for food related stuff. Maybe it's wrapping paper that you had to go and get. My wife knows not to send me to the shops at all over Christmas. I absolutely hate it. So it's a really big ask if I actually end up going to the shops at all during the Christmas period. I'm going to have to go because everyone in our family has to make some sort of Christmas dish, and I'm in charge of basically the dessert. So I'm going to make an ice cream cake, but it's so we'll have to go a few days before Christmas and grab that. Anyway, it's just the way it goes. All right, so Michael's then saying, would love to see you play Dom 6 for the first time, though. It's always fun watching the learning by doing process. I'm going to put out a tutorial and also a Let's Play series, and I will do that. Probably, I don't know whether to do the Let's Play of one of the old factions, which is good for new players, or whether to actually do one of the new factions, which are not that easy to play. So I'm not sure which way I'll actually go there. So there we go. Silvic was saying down the bottom there, picking up a parcel from a shop before it closed. There we are. It's funny. We have a secret Santa for our family, and I was away when that was all sorted. So I only looked at it last week, and the gifts that I had to get, I had to go into a shopping centre. This is the only way I thought I could actually do it and get them from this shopping centre. And I'd done it before from the same shop, and it took me an hour basically just farting around in the shop to figure out what was required. Anyway, I did find that they did actually have a home delivery service, so I did partake in that last week, which so it meant I didn't have to go to the shop. That was good, nice and easy, and gift wrapped as well. So there we go. It was a good way of doing it. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, Battlemode saying the highlighted sacreds option idea is good. Actually, yeah, I think it would be helpful, really, really helpful. Yeah, so Battlemode saying they removed roads in an early version of Dominions. They removed them, but they're still in the game. Map makers can still actually put roads in the game, but it can't be done in the actual game itself, which would be cool if it could, but it doesn't work that way. Jerry's saying Dom 6 is easier to get into. Tutorial, never played any previous Dom versions, but heard hard to get into. Not really. It's there's over 100 factions. Every faction really does play very, very differently. It's certainly complex, but it's rewarding to play. Some of the factions play very instinctively, so there are some real go-tos. If you're very, very new to the game, you'll be able to make sense of it very quickly. If you play, for example, Middle Age Ulm, it just makes sense. Whereas some of the other ones really don't make sense when you first get into it, but are incredible to play it once you start to learn the process. But it really is really quite a fun. A fun game. Like it's amazing actually. It's one of these games that if you like, I always think in terms if I was on a desert island that happened to have a power outlet in the nearest coconut tree and I could bring 5 games with me, one of those games would be Dominions, whatever the latest version of Dominions is, because it plays so differently. Age of Wonders, Dwarf Fortress, Distant Worlds, Dominions, and I don't know if a fifth. I think I may have had Warlock in there at one point. I don't know what I'd have as my fifth. Probably be Sudoku nowadays. anyway, that's definitely one of my go-tos. Even though I often don't play it for a length of time, it's a game I absolutely love. And also, it's one of those things where there's some really, really good players, but you don't have to be a good player to enjoy it. It's one of those games where there's a lot of min-maxing that goes on in the community that plays Dominions, but again, you don't have to be one of those players and get enjoyment from the game. It seems like you do when you first start looking at Dominions that you need to actually min-max everything to get the most out of it. If you're not capturing a province every turn at the start of the game, there's something wrong with you. Forget all that stuff when you're playing Dominions. That's just going to get in your way of enjoying it and having fun with it and learning it really. So yeah, that's what we've got there. So Michael's saying it may take a bit to set up, but it's also fun to watch Dominions multiplayer matches. Multiplayer is where Dominions really shines, but it's so involved. I'm very reluctant and resistant. I would resist getting into another multiplayer game unless there was really good reason to do it, and it's just because it's so time consuming. James is saying, does the Warlord, I think you mean Warlock, Warlock 2 might have the full size maps, or is it still based on small islands? It's there's different ways of playing. If that's one you mean, the Warlock 2, you have all sorts of different options. I might start that up actually. I'll come back to that in just a minute and just show you what the options actually are. Dimmerson saying planes in 2D games are such an awesome mechanic. Conquest of Elysium planes were what drew me back over and over. I hope Shadow Empire has them eventually to some extent. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that actually. But Dominions now has got that. And it will. And I can't wait for in 12 months' time, and we're doing a review on what's happened with Dominions and looking at all these wonderful maps with all these different planes of existence that modders have made for the game. That's really going to be so exciting. It's a lot more work now to build a map, but it is something that is really, really quite cool. Okay, so I'll just skip past and Kingdom Dungeon and Hero. I was talking about this game. It's planned. Oh, okay. Yep. So for 2024. Actually, I have heard of that one. I don't know if I've made contact with the devs for that one. There's so many games now. So Jamison saying, so in the trailer I saw a trade option. Will that be available in single player as well, so that you can trade gems or items with the AI, for example? I don't know. I haven't played with that. I don't think that will work that well, to be honest. You can give. I don't think you can actually do it. There's also, I do have to put in a bug report that I did notice that the messaging system didn't seem all that functional. But it may be because I'm not playing multiplayer. So I'm not sure about that one, but I think that would mainly be for multiplayer. So I don't think it's got, like, the diplomacy isn't really all that fleshed out. It literally is just controlling the combat from what I can see. So DS is saying, I told my wife that due to environmental reasons I'm refusing to use wrapping paper, so I got away with not using it. Yeah, I do that sort of stuff. I just find a box or a bag and just draw something on the front of it, and that's it. And Chris is saying to DS, that's my view with regards to Christmas cards. Yes, I don't do cards. Well, actually, when I got the gift, they actually had a card service where they write something in a card for you. So that was, I just did that, which is pretty bad. Right, so it seems that multiplayer of Dominions is much more fun when you play it as a diplomacy game. Yes, absolutely. It is actually, that's really where it does shine. And also it's like with role play as well. I think it's really, really cool to play multiplayer that way with Dominions. Okay, so the Mountain Craftsman is saying, what version of Dominions is the best? Well, wait a month and the answer is clearly version 6. Right now, the answer is clearly version 5. Like it is the best version. I wouldn't go back beyond version 5 at this stage. In fact, I would wait for 6, to be honest. Version 6 comes out in 1 month's time. Absolutely going to be... it's the difference between 4 and 5... It's about twice as much difference between 5 and 6, if you get what I mean. So there's actually a fair bit of mechanical difference to the game, whereas there wasn't that much between 4 and 5. 5 is still so much better than 4, but not dramatically. Hugh David's saying, your 5th game you would take must surely be Warhammer... Gladius, actually, it would have been Gladius. It would have been Gladius, yes. Yeah, sorry, that was part of it was in my list as well. Good point, good boy Hugh. A very, very good point. So Benjamin's saying, hey Daz, what's the best way to send you any games for giveaways? The Steam Winter Sale is soon, so if there's a good deal on something, I'd like to pick it up and send it to you for a giveaway here. You don't feel you have to do that, Benjamin. I do appreciate the offer, but it's up to you. But it just to my email address, just to daz@daztactic.com, which you'll find in the YouTube about page. But it's not something like the devs will give me keys. I don't actively hunt for them. Different devs will sort of provide keys every so often if they've got something that they do want to present. But look, if you wanted to, that'd be great. But don't feel obliged to. And so, Benoit's saying, wait for Dom 6, absolutely. And Benoit's saying it'll be the best in the series. Illwinter reliably improve their games, and if the step between Conquest Elysium 4 and 5 is an indicator, Dom 5 to 6 will be a huge step up. Agree 100%. And because I've now played, as you say, both those step-ups, 6... Like I sometimes come across games where when I start playing, I'm just saying, wow, like to myself when I'm actually looking at stuff, or if I'm recording, like to think, I'll just get ahead of the recording a little bit. I stop talking because I'm just so taken back by what I'm seeing, and Dom 6 has done that for me. So Dom 6 is really going to be an exceptional game. Shadow Empire, yeah, God, that would be the 5th. That probably would be. God, what would I knock out? What would I knock out of that lot? I don't know. God, there is so many good games now. Actually, I've always just had my old go-tos, of the games. And probably the last time I really thought of what would be my top 5 games, actually now there's some real contenders. Shadow Empire wasn't around the last time I really started thinking of my Desert Island games. It's fun to think of it, as in, how long could you play a game and just get enjoyment playing it time after time after time? There's actually so many games now in that category. Galactic Civilizations 4 now is in that category as well. There's so many games that really now do fit that bill of having incredible replayability. So Dimmerson saying, if only the dwarfs in Conquest of Elysium 4 were not so jank. I want Tolkien dwarfs, damn it. Well, they're not. It's funny because there's not very many dwarves in Dominions. I play Ulm as if I'm playing as the dwarves. I see them as that, even though they're human size. But I'm saying I'd rather that Dominions multiplayer is critical to play as a diplomacy game and most standard games. Without a good grasp of player-to-player diplomacy, you stand no chance of winning. Yeah, that's true. I mean, but that's where the community with Dominions runs beginner multiplayer games, and they're worth playing because what they do is they hold your hand through that whole process, and so people get introduced to the game really quite effectively through those little multiplayer games that they do actually run. Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, I probably wouldn't take that because Dwarf Fortress would tick that box for me. But again, that's an incredible game as well. God, there's so many good games, isn't there? So many good games. Anyway, back to revival recolonization. Actually, I was gonna show Warlock. I'll just do that now. That'll be under my fantasy games, which will be in here. So Warlock 2 the Exiled. I'll just get it started so you can just sort of see it. I've got to accept this agreement before I play it. Yeah, Victor saying Desert Island would have an internet connection for GalCiv 4 stuff. Yeah, and a fast internet connection as well.
The monstrous leader of the
quit out of that one. So when you play a new game of Warlock, and again, Renaissance mod is the mod to actually have. But if we just go into play a single player game, new game, you have all sorts of different ways of playing the game. So this one here, you've got like 4 different modes of playing. So the Exiled is a campaign during which you travel through different worlds towards your goal, return to Ardania and defeat the United One. So the Exiled just actually start off in different smaller planes and then work your way through a progression of planes towards Ardania. Ardania is the if that sounds familiar, that's the Master of Magic world, and so this is a game set in the Master of Magic universe. Sandbox mode is the one that I prefer to play. This is a mode in which you compete with the AI or other players for dominance on the large world of Ardania, which gives you you essentially just have the large actual world, and you've then got different ways of setting that up as well. The Battle for the Outplanes mode, this one is game mode for which you compete with the AI and other players for dominance over the outworld shards. So you essentially have, again, little planes of existence that sort of split off from this one, and then a clear threat. A campaign during which you travel through different worlds towards your goal, find a way through to source of the new threat and deal with it once and for all. So these are all to do with different ways of actually handling the planes, but Sandbox for me works in very, very well. If I'm setting the game up, I tend to have defeat the great mages. I tend to turn off defeat an avatar, turn that one off, and I'll leave capture the holy grounds on as well. Usually that will be my go-tos. Just if you're playing them on any sort of difficulty, these become too easy for the AI to defeat you, so I sort of leave it back through there. Monster spawn rate is in the middle through this other side, difficulty on the outside through here, so probably sort of playing on challenging would be about where I would prefer to be playing. So that's sort of where you are there. So that then gives you the start, just the settings for the actual start of the game. Disable the city limit is not recommended, so yeah, keep the city limit on. It just means that you won't expand too quickly. Arcanus, yeah, it's still built on. So yeah, it is Arcanus, but yeah, Ardania is what they call it in here. But it's still the same style essentially. It comes from Majesty. So you had Master of Magic, then spawned off Majesty. Majesty was like the sim builder. The Majesty then, this is a follow-on from Majesty, but built on Fantasy Wars. So it's complex. It's got a complex family tree to actually get to where we are right now. In fact, family tree of Master of Magic would be fairly interesting, I've got to say. All the second cousins that came off that, like Elemental, Plane or something, I forget what they are. Anyway, there's just so many of them. There's so many games, yeah, that have taken inspiration from Master of Magic. So if we just go next, this is actually where you then set up the different types of worlds to answer the question. So you've got like a great land where it's just one great land. You've got a supercontinent where there's water around the land. You've got continents where you've got multiple largish areas, and then you've got islands. So you do actually have a range of different ways of playing the game this way. With different types of water everywhere, world size as well. So you've got the sort of ways of doing it. This is not part of the mod. This is part of the base game. Additional worlds. These are how many mages you're going to compete against, the rivals, and then additional worlds as well. So you've then got sort of how many planes then sort of split off from the other existence. So depending on what you actually want to have in through there, it could be something like that where there's 4 players with 3 additional planes. Cylindrical world map or just a flat world, so either one of those two as well. So there's a lot to set up in through this other side as well. Just go next. then you actually choose your character. There are a heap of them in here that have been modded in, so there's a lot of different starts you've actually got with the different characters. And as I say, a lot of these are new with the mod, so there's a whole heap of them. Some of these use, like, a lot of these, we're back to the start again. I think there's about 40 different starts that you can actually do through here. You can customize as well, but it's a really, really cool game, really cool game. If we just go back to say, this is like the undead race. Sylvan Order is one that has been modded in. So if we choose her, for example, she's got different abilities. I'll just show you the start of the way it does look. So this is the different settings again. And then we'll start. This is a really, really good game. Like, it's a game that I haven't played for a long time, but it's I've always really enjoyed it. It's quite a brutally difficult game, but this is it here. So you've sort of essentially got your each faction plays very differently. The abilities you actually come into the game with, and so this is Fantasy Wars looks a lot like this. It's funny because when this game was first released, when Warlock was first released, in fact, when Fantasy Wars were first released, people thought that they'd copied, and when Warlock came out, they thought they'd copied from Civ, but the devs had already built it before the Civ hexes had been added in. Back when they did the Fantasy Wars. Fantasy Wars came out before Civilization 6, I think it was, or 5, whenever they brought in the hexes. So this is... So they did it first. It was Civ that sort of, if anything, copied what they did. So there we go. But there are different planes of existence back and through here as well. I can't remember exactly where we see the various planes. We're not going to be able to sort of see them in here anyway. But anyway, that's the game. Extremely good game. And we'll just quit.
Exit the game, my lord.
They've got sort of like a... the voiceover from Majesty. I forget the guy that's got the same voiceover, the same voiceover talent that did all the Majesty stuff. He came in and did the Warlock stuff as well. So it's just saying Hexes is like an old thing. It is now, but when Warlock first came out, everyone just thought, it's just a rip-off of Civilization. But they actually had been working on that model for a lot further. Okay, so Battle Mode saying his top 5 games on Desert Island. Actually, yeah, Victor had said the Desert Island would have to have an internet connection for GalCiv 4 AI stuff. Yeah, well, it would have to have it anyway, just for the updates. So Battle Mode's got Conquer of Elysium 5 is your number 1, Dominions 5 or 6, I guess is where that would be. Shadow Empire, GalCiv 4 Supernova. And for the 5th, too many contenders. Michael Druss is saying 5, Halfling Heaven 6. There we go. But that's a good list, yeah. It's sort of it's funny. Like for me, Distant Worlds would always be in there, and Age of Wonders would always be in there. So I would have them absolutely, definitely, without fail. And then there's so many other contenders for the others, from 3 to 5, basically, from after those other two. Okay, Jerry's saying, talking about taking spots with games. I believe Solium Infernum will be there. Yeah, look, that's going to be an awesome game as well. I mean, that has to prove itself yet, but that's going to be a great game for the release this coming year. So, and Dimmerson saying, any Halfling game must be number 1. Well, you do. It's funny, I was trying to find. When I was recording like the different types of starts you actually have, and I had to re-record the episode because I got to the point where I said, you can even play as the Halflings. And I know that the Hobyars are in the game, but I can't think of the faction that makes use of them. So I couldn't actually, in the end, I couldn't find a Halfling faction that you can actually play as the Halflings in Dominions. But I thought there was one, but I just can't think of what it actually is. Yeah, and so Bannerman saying, I love the Sean Connery impersonation in the intro to Warlock 2. Yeah, well, that's the same one for Majesty. Like, if you go and look, even at really old Majesty stuff, it should have the same voiceover. Majesty. So this was 2001. Is there video? No, there's no video. Majesty 2. video there either. But you can see there Innoco again, back in through here with Paradox Interactive again. So this was the precursor to Warlock. But yeah, no videos. Okay, that's a shame. Is there anything? They won't have it with the DLC, of course. Yeah, no video, no voiceover we can actually hear. But this is, yeah, essentially Warlock took over from where this one actually is, and Majesty was, basically heavily. You can see it's Dania here. The king would imagine that Dania belonged to him alone, but essentially it's Arcanus from Master of Magic is sort of where that one was, and I think that the original Majesty, who did that one? Was that Microprose? They probably have sold it. The original. Should probably be better to do this on Google. Majesty game. Fantasy Sim, if we just go to Wikipedia. The fount of all knowledge, never wrong. So, Cyberlaw Studios, Hasbro Interactive, under the Microprose brand name for so Microprose. So Microprose originally was heavily involved, of course, because they were the original publishers of Master of Magic as well. And does it mention Master of Magic? Maybe not. But a great game, great game. Anyway, that's an old game, an oldie but a goldie. So that was Majesty. So let's keep on going with the chat as well. So yep. So yeah, Steve is saying Majesty had that as well. Yep. And so it's not the world of Master of Magic, Canis. Yep. I read that one out before. Yeah, you are right. It's not strictly the same world, but it's based on it, sort of. Steve Riddle saying your Highness. Yeah, here we go. The Sean Connery. So this is saying Mirren being the other one. Yep, and Michael's then saying, oh yes, the new Majesty 2, please. Sizzle's saying, but yes, they have taken inspiration from Master of Magic. Yeah, so it is heavily Master of Magic. So Dumerson saying, Majesty 3 with my mates as a teenager on LAN. The profanity in that room. So saying, was there profane magic too? X is an old thing, says Sithel, like predates original Square Civ even. I mean, it was always in wargaming, but in computer gaming, the first war game. I'm trying to think of the first game that wasn't a war game that I saw on computer that used its hex, and I think it's still Elven. It's Elven Legacy. That's what I was thinking of. Elven Legacy is the other game that they built before Fantasy Wars. Elven Legacy video game. When was that out? So this is 2009. So this came out before Fantasy Wars. And if you have a look at that one. So can we see any combat? It is hexes in here, but this is essentially the precursor to the sequel to Fantasy Wars, actually. So it's after Fantasy Wars, but the date is wrong. Okay, so Fantasy Wars came first, Elven Legacy came second, Warlock came third. Is sort of where we end up going with that. It's got a whole collection. This was a great little game as well. I really enjoyed this one, but of course when Warlock came, this was all thrown away and never played again. So, but that was the one. Yeah, my brain kicked back into gear with that particular one. But yeah, so there's quite a rich little history of those different sorts of games. What did we get up to? So yeah, but I think I'm thinking even back to. I'm trying to think of other games that used hexes effectively. Like again, it's only war games I can sort of think of that actually had them way back. So, but it sort of was a bit unusual. Okay, so Sizzle's saying, just saying that people do not know the history of strategy games. Then, if you go over board games, it predates computers. Yes, Dodecahedrons is where it's at now. Says Sorbicol. Reminds me of another good old game, Warlords Battlecry 3. Yeah, that was a great game. That was a really cool game. It wasn't actually, for me, it wasn't great. It was just good. All the Warlords games. For me, Warlords, the pinnacle I think was Warlords 2, and then it went backwards from that point. A better game in that genre and in that era was Cohen. What was that one? What was the game? Cohen video series. This was much better than the Warlord games, Immortal Sovereigns. So even now it rates highly on Steam. No videos though. Yeah, 2001. So it's around that sort of era. This was so much better than Warlords. This was an awesome game. I wouldn't recommend it now though, but in its day, and what made it so good was you actually had like a base set of units that you'd build for each faction, but then you had like two sort of end slots that you could apply different weapons to, or different types of units, which really enhanced the base unit, and it was such a good mechanic. And I haven't really seen much other people do it, not to the same extent that Cohen Immortal Sovereigns actually did it, but this was a really good game. How much gushing is there over this one? God, people are still writing stuff for this one. I mean, this one was just posted very similarly. People are still playing it. I put this in the top tier of classic PC strategy titles such as Mu 2, Age of Wonders, Command & Conquer, etc. Yeah, I would too. This was so much better than Warlords. I mean, Warlords for me just got worse and worse after 2. Give us the full list. What's Warlords I at? No, there's nothing. I thought that one might be a sort of like a more indie version of Warlords. Geez, it doesn't really. Yeah, it doesn't even have it. Looks like it doesn't have it on the on Steam. It was Team Digital. Sorry, Team 17, I think, that did it. What about 2K, 3. Yeah, it's just not there, is it? Anyway, that's fine. Battle Cry. That one's still there. Very positive. Only 82%. Yeah, that's about right. That'd be about right. 2004. It's missed the sweet spot. Between 1995 and 2002, when the best games were being built. So no, it doesn't qualify just on that alone. I'm only joking. But no, I didn't really warm to that one, to be honest. So anyway, let's continue on. Actually, Bellman was saying I really love the first Battle Isle game. About to cover it on my channel. Battle Isle was incredible. I still look for a good remake of Battle Isle. There has been a few that have come out in this year. Actually, there's been one that's come out. God, what was it called? Which I really quite liked a lot. I don't know if I made a video on it. I mean, Wargroove is sort of there. That's quite cool. But there's a different one. Wargroove has certainly got that Battle Isle feel about it, in a very good way. God, there was another one that I saw, and it was I think it's in amongst this list of games that I sort of had for trying. I don't know if I did a video on it in the end, but I was impressed with it. Got so many games in here. I just haven't got to. No, I can't think of what it was. But But that was it was very much like a Battle Isle style game, but it's sort of a bit more modern. Into the Breach has also got that sort of like it's not really the same sort of vibe, but it does. Yes, it wasn't Wargroove. I wonder what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I have to try to think of what it actually was. But it was really nicely done. It wasn't random. That was the only thing I don't like about those Battle Isle type games. But Battle Isle was a fantastic game. Really, really cool game. Okay, so still saying let's not forget about the Heroes of Might and Magic. Also adopted hexes. When did they do it? Because I don't think they did it. Did they ever do it? Really, I can't remember that being something that they did. Anyway, so we'll move on from that discussion. We've still got a lot of other games that we've got to talk about today. So just skimming past a lot of this stuff. Just get to the void where the bottom is. So Ulgen is saying, what is the UI you're using to sort the game genres? This is actually another Stardock thing. You can get it from Steam actually. So I will show you this because I've used this for probably decades now. And if you just go to Steam and just search for Fences and Fences 4. Now I think Fences 5 is coming out soon-ish, but this is what I'm using here. So you can get it from Steam, you can get it directly from Stardock if you wanted to. So Stardock actually they don't just make games, they also make applications for Windows computers. They've got like a lot of different things that they do, but this is actually something that is really, I can't do without this. It does all sorts of little things, like for example, if I go back, I'll just minimize this. So this is my gaming screen where I sort things out. I can then sort of scroll within Windows because I end up with too many games. But I can sort them very, very easily. And you just build the areas by clicking and dragging and just create like a box, and it will then sort of say, hang on, I'll just do that again. When I let go, it says create fence or create a folder portal. And so a folder portal is like this over through here where I have, when I'm recording, these are all my video notes where I've got the different notes of what I'm actually supposed to be doing. And so, and also when I'm recording a series, I then will plan things out. These are just little text files, but I just keep everything in here. It makes it nice and easy. So for when I'm actually doing games. But there's things like if I double click, it hides the screen. So I can hide the screen just by a double click, which is really cool. You can also, if you're on middle mouse button and drag, hey presto, I've got my work stuff on this particular screen. And if I go back the other way, there's my gaming stuff, and I just scroll this way, I've got another blank screen, which I use this one for recording games like Dwarf Fortress and stuff where I may have to show the desktop. So it's a really, really good system of fences for sorting your stuff out. So Fences 5 just came out actually, says Battle Mode. Yeah, it really is an amazing application. Actually, I'll have to get Fences 5 because Fences is something I've always had on my computer ever since Fences 1 first came out. They used to also have a dock as well. Stardock used to have a dock for the top of the screen, but I don't use that anymore. I found that was a bit buggy, but that was years and years and years ago that I stopped using their version of that. So I'm using a different version for the top. I don't even know if they still sell that other one. Anyway, it is great. It really is good. So Steve Riddle saying, I've always wondered what that was. Yeah, no, it's really, really cool. I can't live without it. It's like on my computers. It's one of the first things I install whenever I get a new computer. So they're saying they absolutely did. But Heroes of Might and Magic used both. I think it was used in the tactical battles from the first game. Oh, okay, but I've not really played the first. But 2 and 3 did. Okay, well there you go. So hexes, the history of hexes in gaming. It's funny when you have a look at the gaming engines. I can look up hexes and how gaming engines rely on hexes. There's not a lot of stuff actually, which I'm surprised at. I would have thought there would be hex engines that you'd plug into the big engines. I think there are some, but it's not an easy thing for. It's not super difficult, but it's not an easy. It requires a bit of work to sort of build the way that hexes then work in games themselves. All right, so let's get back to our list of things I wanted to talk about, and I do need to go back into my ChatTactic stuff and through here. Just I'm going to open this up on my other screen just to get my list of things I need to talk about. So, well, we've actually now spoken about DOM 6. I won't bother talking about that one. We've done revival recolonisation. I've got three more things we need to talk about. Two released this week, and so I'll go now to Galactic Civilizations 4, and they've actually now got. So I'll show you this in Steam. Galactic Civilizations 4 and through here. So this week we have two big things coming, or that have come and are coming with Galactic Civilizations 4. So first of all, we have version 2.2 of the game has been updated, so that's actually now been released, and there's new DLC coming as well. So we now actually have the Tales of Centauron is actually now being released as well on the 20th of December. So there's another release coming. Now the 20th, I think this one shows my time when I look at it in Steam for like Australian time, so it might be the 19th, I think, that this is actually releasing. So this one here, if we have a bit of a look at this particular DLC, there's no video for this one yet. The person doing video content has been away on holidays, I believe. Having a crack at battle mode there. Why is that there? That's okay. So Tales of Centauron. Now, for me, what's most interesting is actually the plan for all of the DLC. So we might go back and have a look at that one through there. What this one does is it adds a lot of personalization, but so does the upgrade to version 2.2. 2.2 and this one. So this one adds more sort of like story-based content is the way I understand this. So if we have a bit of a read of it. So dive into the 24th century Centauran sector, a melting pot of galactic powers like the Drengan Empire and the Altarians. This DLC enriches Galactic Civilizations 4 with unique technologies, planetary improvements, starship components, and a new mission, Return of the Korath. Experience dozens of new lore-driven events that bring the galaxy story to life. These features also extend the custom civilizations sharing traits with canon species, offering a more personalised and immersive gameplay. Tales of Centauron promises to expand dynamic universe and deepen your strategy and narrative experience of the Galactic Civilization saga. So again, this has all been sort of like just lots of little things added into the game. Very hard to say, oh, this is the new faction or anything like that. So it's the only real tangible that's easy to see is this new mission. I might just start up because I literally got the key for this just before I started doing the session. So I've only just got my grubby hands on this particular one. And I don't know if we can see everything in it, but I'll show you a few different things actually that are now going to be coming with it. There's certainly a lot more immersion, and I've also noticed, and I think it may be from 2.2, I'm seeing a lot of UX improvements as well in the game. So there's a lot of good stuff. But I'm saying 2.2 is a good update. The UI is way nicer now. It really is. What's interesting as well is that the user interface now changes depending on the faction you play. Which I don't know if that was there before. Like even this comes when you come back out. Like if we go, for example, into missions, this is probably the easiest way to sort of see that it's there, which is Return of the Korath. And so what this one does is then gives you a very specific, like there's no random mapper, but I don't think there's any randomization in this. I think it's a curated start to play this particular one, where you've got like definite opponents. You're not playing against the Drengan as such in through here. If you just start the mission, I'm just going to have myself a drink of water while it starts. Click on that one. So you end up with a story at the start of these actual little missions. It's fairly verbose, and I know that some people like it, some people don't like that sort of stuff, but that's okay. So this is the actual crushing the week. You see how the interface has actually been styled for the Korath clan, and this is, I think, is a 2.2 change, I think. So just click on done. but the button numbers, the whole color scheme is now sort of changed to reflect this, and I don't remember it doing that before. Yeah, certainly it didn't. It feels now more immersive with what we're doing. So this is the actual mission itself. So this is it always sort of starts the same. Yeah, it's the same start that when I was looking at it before, like just before I started recording. So it's in the same portion of the world. If I have a look inside here, there has been some improvements. If we go inside the actual world itself. Now, in a lot of the factions, from what I understand, and Battle Mode may have a better understanding. Well, he will have a better understanding. He will have a much better understanding, a deeper understanding of what the changes actually are. But even little things like this, for example, putting the capital city down. You see there that you end up with a bonus per level. You end up with a population cap of +1. In the past, you had to then sort of hunt around and think, oh, well, where's that going to? Where would that be good to do that one? And in this case, I would have missed this one entirely as being an ideal spot for the capital. I would have been looking for things, for example, like Planetfall +1 to all. I may have chosen that just to get the extra population, but I never would have thought of looking there because this one's got an adjacency bonus of +2 to population, and so this spot here becomes really, really viable for a capital city. And if I grab this now and drag, it now shows me, and I don't remember it doing that before. Again, it may have, but I just don't remember it. I was impressed with that when I saw it because I thought, oh wow, I can actually go there, bring it in, and actually I end up with, actually where is it? Up to 11. If I don't have it in that position, if it's not there, like if we just go and destroy that improvement and move it somewhere else. If I move it over to there, for example, I've only got 9, so it gives me 2 extra to actually be able to do that. But I like that when I go to place these things down, I'm now getting all the numbers, so I don't have to hunt around and look for stuff. And I think even just little things like that is really, really cool. So yeah, and actually this is saying that it looks nice, the interface, and I actually like this. It's a bit old school, like the user interface. I really like it a lot. Like it's that's one thing I've always liked about a lot of the Stardock games is that the interface does look great, and it really is nice. It's certainly one of the nicest interfaces that I've seen, and I come across so many different games, and it makes such a difference when you're playing something that's enjoyable to play. And this one just feels nice, but I really like this aspect. See, this is different as well. I don't ever remember there being a death camp, and I think that this either came through 2.2, which did improve some of the actual some of the buildings that you get at the start, where there's actual nuance for what you are building. Like a death camp is not part of any other faction. So upon construction supplies several Ruintorians who will be worked to death. And so in this case we end up with different abilities that will be similar to like some of the old factory complexes from the humans, but everyone now has got like something that's a little bit different in 2.2, and I think that what this DLC does is enhance that even further, is my understanding. I'll just read back and see what Battle Mode had said, because as I say, yeah, Battle Mode's saying, you're right, I'm afraid, Daz, I'm working on a video for it this week. There we go. So he's going to be doing the intro video for the DLC. See, I rely on those videos, Ben, to have the knowledge to pretend that I know what I'm talking about when I come in and do these sessions. So no, the simplest way to do it is doing squares and then offset each row by a half. You basically get a hex system then, but then you have to get one lot of diagonals coming back the other way. There's actually, I did see something, I forget which game engine it was, but it actually had like the actual parameters around using hexes was very, very cool. What they actually had there, because pathing is also a big issue with using hexes, and so yeah, there's a lot to putting hexes in. Anyway, let's continue on. So Battle was saying 2.2 is a good update. The UI is way nicer now. Yes, it's just little things like that, which is fantastic. And he's saying Brad and the team are going hell for leather and making the game easier to play with less clicks and more transparent info, which they've done incredibly well. Yeah, Sizzle was saying looks nice, the interface. I actually like that it's a bit old school. It's old school in a way, but it's so functional, and getting better and better and better all the time. Okay, Bannermate's saying, I'm still catching up on the new features in these changes. To be honest, I've spent most of the week writing GalCiv 4, writing the GalCiv 4 wiki. Oh, there we are. Michael's saying, I was watching someone play GalCiv 4 in German with your voice speaking in German. Bannermate sounds good. There we go. Bannermate's saying, yeah, it still spooks me out a little bit. And Bannermate's saying that the core civs are all getting their own improvements, text, etc. Yeah, so, and I think that there's a roll-on into the player-made, or the AI-based factions as well. I think that from what I had read was that there was all the core ones are getting these special buildings and things that they can go and build. The tech trees are becoming more personalised as well. So things like this, but I think that there is a roll-on into what you choose when you choose an AI faction as well, from what I understand. Michael's saying also the starting structure gives specific bonuses for each race. Yes. So so everything is now getting a little bit more unique, depending on who you're playing as. And from what I had read, we might open up and have a look at a few of the other factions and just see what they have at the start of the game as well. Wolftooth saying, Daz, do you think Age of Wonders 4 is lacking in actual fantasy form? Things like minotaurs, centaurs, ogres, etc. It feels very low fantasy at times. I know what you mean, and this is something so many people actually say this, is that it lacks. It lacks the unbalance that you sort of that is fun with these sorts of games, and it does sort of have things, but not to the same extent. I think so much of the effort has been put into building the chassis, so like the different, the dwarf, the elf, it's chassis that you then have for the actual races, that it has lost a bit of the magic that it had with the other different types of units. So yes, I think you're right. I don't think it's as bad as what people perceive it to be, because I still love playing the game, but it is definitely something there. Michael's saying to Wolftooth, I want my gnolls and troglodytes. There we go. Battlemate's saying the new improvements are also tied to civ abilities. Yes, yeah. So there's a whole lot of different things now coming with it. So Orges are in however, says Sithel. They are in, like, things are being put in there. But I'm saying, so anyone with Slaver will get the Drengen's prison camp stuff. Yeah, okay, cool. So like we don't have the prison camp in through here. We've got a death camp for the Korath clan. Oh, hang on, while we're in there, this has also now changed. See how the terrain is now much more immersive with what they've actually now done. So we've got, for example, this is volcanic plains. This is lava flows. Just basic volcanic plains, lava flow. Volcanic rifts. So there's so much more now in the actual, like, of the different types of terrain depending on where you go. So this is like with Korra, the Korath clan homeworld, this is a volcanic planet, and so that's what we're sort of getting in through there. If we just click on done, if I go back out to the main menu, I'm not sure if it's supposed to, hang on, sorry, main menu, yes. I'm not sure if it's supposed to keep the Korath clan look to it. I don't know if it's supposed to go back to default at this point. Anyway, it is interesting that sort of does do that one. If we go back in and sort of play a new game, for example, and we play as, I know that a lot of work has been done with the Your Singularity. So if we go and click on next in through there, and again we should see this then flick across. I'll just go next all the way through. Just play whatever the defaults are going to be. We'll start the game. So we now have the purple look to it. So we're now getting the the overall color scheme. So again, we've got an overall color scheme for what's actually happening through there. We'll just click on done. So I haven't looked at this at all, but Iconia, again, we have, what do we have in this case? The capital city, the uranthium scanner. So sends out a massive pulse to detect the rare metal, uranthium. That's interesting as well. That's a civilization achievement. This one is the precursor relic scanner. So it will reveal any precursor relics on this world and nearby systems, but it still does give other different types of things as well. So we've got, again, we're looking at a unique start. Again, this one is looking for population bonuses. We don't actually have any on this planet, so hey, there you go in the middle there. So it doesn't really matter where this gets placed. I really like this idea of showing the benefits of when you're starting to build different things. I mean, that there again, very, very unique. Because the robots rely on Duranthium to build themselves. I love this. I love seeing this in the actual game itself. If we just click on done and then go back into research and look at the tech navigator, I don't know if we'll see differences in through here. Potentially not, but maybe different buildings. But I'm not sure where we'd see that. Yeah, I'm guessing that I don't know if we'll see actual specific changes in the tech tree itself. Engineering, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we do it. So the Bannon was saying the Euro Brad's favourite, I think. I know there was a lot of changes made to it. Maybe we could hunt that down and find out where it's coming from, because there definitely was. I'll just click on done. If we go back out to here and go back to the base game. Oh, the other thing too, by the way, this is these are smaller content packs that are coming in, but then there's going to be some fairly major ones coming through here, which is really exciting. Like Warlords and then Megastructures are going to dramatically change the game. Species Pack and the Tales of Centauron sort of enhance the game, but I think Warlords and Megastructures will actually change it, which I'm really looking forward to. So the actual plan for the DLC is there. I won't get stuck into it. Now, if we just go back into these, this is the updates coming. This is in just 2.2. I'll just skim down to where there's one of Ben's videos from before he went on holidays, I think. So this is the new biomes, where it's sort of showing the different biomes that you now actually have in the game and how different they actually are. So, like ocean worlds, lagoons. There is something in here that then talks about the actual the buildings. I saw it somewhere. Here we go. It's this one here from December the 8th. So this one has got, so essentially there's just been changes. So the capital mainframe this is sort of like the basic stuff that was in through this other side. Terran Resistance has the auto printer, yeah, and the communications array. Navigators have like a different type of thing. So these all do unique things for their actual, for their unit, or for where they actually are. Memots and Zoloxy, again, all very, very unique. I love this. I love that this has actually all been put in there. Altarians, God, there's so much. The yaw. A lot of fun with the robotic yaw. We felt the synthetic species should be pretty distinct from the fleshlings out there. So yeah, so the Duranthium scanner we've actually discovered, or we've been looking at. First, the sensor range of the planet grows a lot. Look at that extra level boost. So it's yeah, that's showing Duranthium deposits. Okay, then precursor relic scanner. Yeah, we had that one as well. Is it going to show us anything else? Precursor relics. No, it doesn't. I thought it actually showed us more. It's just that it shows you more of the results, I guess, of it. But I thought there was even more than that that was going to be coming in as well. But it's really interesting. Again, the Taurians have a really pretty water world, but they can't build these grand resorts on anything really other than water. So yeah, interesting. I love this. It really is personalising now the different factions. So I'll definitely be recording more of that this coming week. Oops, I meant to keep Steam open. So I'll just keep that one there. So that's what's coming up in GalCiv. So look out for that in just a couple of days' time. I'm looking at the time. I've actually spent a lot of time just farting about today. The next big one that's coming this week is Kerbal Space Program. Is got a Kerbal Space Program 2 has got a new DLC coming. well, it's actually just a new update. So the exploration begins. So this one actually starts tomorrow, I think. This was posted right now. So is it right now? Is it right now? Or is it coming? Let's have a quick look. I'll just open up Steam. Downloads. No, not in the list yet. So I thought it was actually tomorrow that we get the new version of Kerbal Space Program. So this is saying the exploration era begins. So for us early fans of the original Kerbal Space Program, there have been so many things to enjoy during these first sandbox days. There actually haven't. Let's call a spade here. Kerbal Space Program 2 launch was abysmal. It was terrible. The lack of fixing things up for so long was also really, really poor. I think they've lost a lot of their goodwill with the way that they actually launched the game, and then really didn't get on top of what was actually happening with the launch. So just being honest and open about it, because I really want this game to do well. But it's, so for us early fans, the original Kerbal Space Program, and I'm definitely one of those, there were so many things to enjoy during those first sandbox days. Oh, okay, of Kerbal Space Program 1. Yes, there was. And yes, it didn't launch perfectly, but we're talking about version 2 as well. Whether it was the slapstick fun of sticking together small fuel tanks, there was only one size, into impossibly huge rockets, or the eternal search for unlikely uses for the game's only robotic parts, the landing leg. KSP was a good time. Yeah, okay, that's a bit, I don't know why they're going way back there. That doesn't make a real lot of sense. They should be just talking about what they're doing, because what they're going to be doing is actually very exciting. So blah 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 blah. Come on, give us what you're going to be doing. We don't want to waltz down memory lane. We've already done that with Warlock, with Warlock 2. So the missions became puzzles that I couldn't put down. Yeah, this is self-indulgent. Come on. Okay, tomorrow. Here we go. Tomorrow, Kerbal Space Program 2 is. This is what the only important thing. So Kerbal Space Program 2 is crossing that same threshold from fun toy to trying to figure out in the shower how to make a rover when you haven't unlocked wheels yet in the R&D centre. With the release of the For Science update, the game received several new features and numerous high consequence bug fixes. And I would put in brackets there, and probably a heap of new bugs as well that have to be somehow squashed. So I'm not expecting it to be a very smooth launch, just based on other things that they've done, but it's a great direction. I've been playing a single exploration mode campaign for a couple of months now, and I'm suddenly realising that thousands of deeply invested sagas are about to get underway. Yeah, this is cool. And so just unlocking some probe cores, it's time to fly to Juno. So, again, this I don't know who's writing this. I don't know who has written this, but this is not what we want to know. We don't want. We just tell us what's going on. We now play. Okay. Blah 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 blah. This God, this scares me. You know, like the cynic in me says, why are you talking about stuff that's not actually what we're going to be getting? Like, why aren't you blasting out all of the stuff that's going to be coming in the new version? Because there's an awful lot that was actually that I've seen content like that's been prepared for it, but it's just been wasting time, and that's like treading water. You know, like treading water, wasting time without actually giving anything substantial away. So how's it different from KSP? Lots of ways, big and small. Science collection is a much smoother process and involves a lot less guesswork. The new science part is pleasingly diverse, asking you to think hard about how to take advantage of your unique properties. To give one example, the long collection time of the ASCMA A Air Sniffer atmospheric science module requires you to develop a loiter capability. You're either going to have to make a plane, or you're going to need to get creative with your lander design. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. The new terrains. See, this should be really where it starts. This is the meat and potatoes. The other bits, there's too much parsley and not enough meat and potatoes. We don't want the parsley. So the new terrain system really comes into its own here as well. There's no way to predict what you'll encounter when landing on a new location, and I often find myself sightseeing when I'm supposed to be doing serious science stuff. Adding to that feeling of mystery, blah, blah, blah. He's wandered off again. He's wandered off! More parsley. Get rid of the parsley. The update inclusion of re-entry heating and more rigid joints are, of course, hugely important. This is a major thing. This the entry heating is. I've been really waiting on that before I start doing any videos on it, because it's such a big part of the original game. I mean, it wasn't there originally, but it became such a big part. And the rigid joints have meant that the game has been almost unplayable up until now. This is many months after launch. I mean, really, this sort of stuff should have been in a long time ago. As are the recent corrections of a number of stability and performance issues. Buoyancy has also seen a major update or major upgrade, and it's now possible to build working seaplanes and launch them from a brand new boat docks. The game is still in early access, which means that there's still plenty of improvements to come. So there's plenty of opportunities here, blah, blah, blah. So this, again, we were talking about this early on, about the benefit of early access. I haven't seen the benefit of this game, to be honest, because they haven't been responsive. And whereas other developers sort of chop and change, certainly if anything's game breaking, they have fixed that, but not quickly. It takes them weeks to get a version out. And so early access for me in this one has been disappointing in the sense that they haven't been responsive to the stuff that needed to be responsive with. But it's still exciting where it's actually going to be going. Having said that, I go in with some trepidation. Deep dive video for a breakdown of everything that arrives tomorrow. So there is actually a video there. Well, that also, how big is this one? Actually, I think I've looked at this one. This one came out 3 days ago. Yeah, I've actually watched this one. This one is... again shows the stuff. It's 10 minutes.
Go and find very interesting.
Yeah, I won't go through it all. Yeah, and this was again fairly self-indulgent.
Slowly adding different bits and pieces.
Interesting though. This guy was really interesting.
Stuff from the runway.
This is the sound engineer. But I actually enjoyed listening to him talking about what he was doing with the game. It wasn't anything to do with the For Science update. It was just generally doing the music and other things with it as well. It was actually, of all the stuff that mentioned, nothing at all to do with what's coming, but it was actually just really quite fascinating to hear him talk about what he was doing audio-wise with the game, which I thought was really quite cool. Anyway, that's the For Science update, which is coming tomorrow, which will be great. So looking forward to that. So, but again, they're not giving us information, and early access not done all that well with that particular one. Let's just minimise that. We'll just get out of this now as well. So we've sort of covered GalCiv. I will be recording content for GalCiv in the coming week as well. Yeah, still the same. Do like the space planes. So that's quite cool. The other game I wanted to talk about that came out with Milestone 2 is Xenonauts 2. And this is another one of these games where the development has been slow on the actual game itself. But I like what they've done with the early access, where they've sort of ended up with this. I'll just open her up and show you what I mean. It's something where the game is not finished, meaning you can't actually play the end of the game yet. So the actual final missions haven't been put in the game. And this is something that people have been not buying the game because of. They sort of think, okay, well, look, until you've finished the game, I'm not going to buy it. You know, even it might be early access, but it's not a complete game. So if we have a look at the roadmap, for example, which is, and so this is in early access. And when you have a look at it, it's been out now for a long period of time, and we've only got a few ticks ticked off in through here. But the version that they've actually put out, this Milestone 2, which is sort of like the next major milestone since the launch of early access, what they've done is they've actually deviated away from their original plan, and instead of building the air combat revamp, which is what they were going to be sort of looking at very stringently, and Operation Endgame to sort of get the game so it had like a finish to it. What they decided was, based on what people were saying as they were playing the game, was they were there was some gaps in what they had already built in the first version, so they switched from working towards the back end of the game to making the front end more fun and playable. And so what they did with that is that they've actually, and I've had so much fun playing this version of the game, more so than the previous version. I love the first version anyway, but this is so much better. And for me, this is the benefit of having early access, because they've been able to pivot away from things that really, like I've been playing this for 12 hours, this particular run of Xenonauts 2 on my Twitch channel. And so I've got 12 hours of gameplay, and I'm only 2 months into the game. And there's about 6 months worth of content in there from what I've been told. So I've got heaps and heaps of hours left of gameplay before I basically run out of things to do. And I'm happy with that. I'm having great fun with it. Having great fun with it. It can be an unforgiving game, but it's so much fun. But what they've done is they've revamped the tutorial. So the tutorial now is important to play that, because it sets the story. The story makes much more sense now, so they've fleshed that one right out. They've expanded the cleaner story, and the cleaner are sort of like human agencies that are helping the aliens. In this case, just again based on feedback, they've sort of gone back and rejigged these things to make the overall flow so much better. People loved playing against the cleaners. I mean, I do as well, and so they've tried to extend that part of the mission pack out. Because of that, they then found that everything was ramping up too fast. Like the progression of the player was actually going too fast. They needed a way to slow that down. So what they did was they introduced this as well, these probe UFOs, which are unmanned UFOs. So they've been now put into it. So you can't, when you shoot these things down, you don't get to do a mission to then go and start to capture aliens. So that doesn't happen. So the early game doesn't have that many aliens in it, but it still feels really, really good. There still are some, but just not a hell of a lot of them. You've got heavy armor variants. This actually simplifies the way that you load out your soldiers in a really logical way. Again, that wasn't part of the original plan. This is coming through early access. So it's these little things. This is where early access for me really works well, because they can still keep their original plan, but they've just pivoted and brought things in that when people have said, look, this doesn't work for me, or whatever it might be, they've then been able to solve this. They've also brought in 3 different mission types as well with this particular version. And I've got to say, the overall flow of the game is exceptional. So much better than what it was at launch. It was already good at launch, but it's exceptional now. And because of the pivot to focus on this early content at the expense of things that people are screaming for before they buy the game. So they're looking after the people who are in early access rather than doing what they had said that they were going to do, which was to do air combat and Operation Endgame, basically. So, and I've got to applaud them for doing that, because they've made a much better game by actually focusing at the start. So for me, that's where early access actually works very well. But I'm having so much fun with this one. It's really cool. Just the overall balance of it feels so much better. So I was saying the development of Xenonauts 2 has been glacial. I think I backed it via Kickstarter back in 2018. It has been glacial, very much like KSP as well. KSP has been glacial, but KSP doesn't seem to listen, whereas Xenonauts 2 does seem to listen to their gamers and to their gaming public, and so. In that sense, KSP seems to just do its own thing, and as if it sort of knows what it's got its own plan, and it doesn't really want the input coming in from what I can gather. It doesn't seem to, they seem impervious to feedback, whereas Xenonauts 2 is from what I can see with this latest release, is the opposite. But it is glacial development. It's very slow. Having said that, there's been a few updates in recent days as well, like since there's been a few bug fixes which have been fairly quick, whereas in KSP2, like the bug fix might take a month, whereas the bug fix in Xenonauts 2 have sort of been coming out each day. Michael's saying, started a new game of Xenonauts 2 on veteran difficulty. Was a bit hard to start. UFO number 4 was 3 medium-sized UFOs at the same time, followed up by a medium-small together. Loving it though. Yeah, it's very cool. And Sithel's saying, hey, a Backstar citizen, I know you had to wait. But no, it is good. Oh, sorry. There's but I was saying there's an NLP technique trying to get the reader to empathize with the article. A bit deceptive after that launch, in all honesty. Yeah. So you're talking about for KSP2. Yeah, actually, neuro-linguistic programming for that takes it too far though. That what was written there. When you've got a launch of something that's exciting, this is actually one of the things, because my background is in marketing and advertising, and like doing creative work in that sense. And one of the premises you have when you're doing marketing is if you've got something to say, scream it. If you don't have something to say, use fluff and do what you did with what that statement is. So when I read that sort of stuff, I'm thinking, this is going to be shit because they're not screaming what the changes are coming tomorrow for KSP. Instead, they're using all of this, as you say, they're using NLP techniques. They're using the fluff to try to sort of make you feel warm and fuzzy about something that's just, there's no substance in what was written. There's no meat and potatoes in what was written. It was all just fluff, and that for me is very, very worrying. It either means that the launch is going to be absolute shit tomorrow with the content, and it's not ready, which is very much like on the cards, because they've done that in the past where they've actually been developing stuff and then realised, oh shit, it's not good enough. Just launch it anyway, and we'll just pretend it's good enough, which is not a good way to go. They should just basically say, hey, it's not ready. We're pulling a stop on this until we've got it ready. That's what they should do. That's why when they write what they wrote, if we go back in there again, when they write all this bullshit, basically, all this fluff, when the For Science update should be such a major part of the game, this is really concerning for me. Because if they know what they're doing from a marketing sort of / advertising perspective, they wouldn't be doing this. And if they do know what they're doing, then it means it's not ready. So I'm hoping they don't know what to do to actually get the messages across to the gaming public. But anyway, that's for me, that's a big concern, just simply because of the fluff that they've used to instead of screaming what's coming. Because they should be absolutely screaming what's coming with this update, because what they're promising is so damn good. If it's there, so I'm going into this with a lot of trepidation based on what I've read there. Okay, so Michael's saying, yes, we did that one. What did we get down to? So Wolf Truth is saying, with the GalCiv 4 updates you mentioned only for the Steam version, only have the Epic version. Okay, if you've got the Epic version of the game, you've probably only got version 4. The way it's very, very confusing, and this unfortunately is one of these other things that I hate, that Epic has got these things where they tie companies up for 12 months, because it then makes the overall success of games much harder for developers, but they get the money up front so they can then do other things with it. So I can understand why they do it, but it then we end up in these sort of situations where we have a game on Steam that is not the same game on Epic. Epic, you can buy an upgrade to get, and it's fairly cheap, but you can buy an upgrade to get the Supernova version of the game. If you do have the Epic version, it's definitely worth getting the Supernova version. Don't get stuck just playing the GalCiv 4 version. That is so much worse than Supernova. Supernova is it's almost like GalCiv 5, to be honest. It's that different between those two versions. So I'm assuming you need Supernova before the DLCs will kick in. And so to do it on Epic, I'm pretty sure the DLCs will come to Epic, but you'll need to get that update. And I don't know how much it is on Epic. I'll have a quick look and see. This will be Australian dollars, so it probably won't make a real lot of sense. Epic Game Store. So it should actually be listed there if it is. Galactic. Oh, actually, it does have Supernova there. Now, oh God, bloody hell. really old. So we've got the now this is the Supernova version, which is what you do want. The base game, if we go, I don't know if we can go back to the base game, because there is the base game as well. See, species and megastructures are coming later on. So that's when it's coming. So the DLCs are coming. Where's the others that are coming? It doesn't have everything. God, I hate Epic. Yeah, Tales of Centauran is the thing that should be coming tomorrow. The soundtrack should be released now as well. So that one is available. That one's coming soon. Then they've got Warlords. Yeah, okay, they've got them in the reverse order. Yeah, they've got these in reverse order. So that one will be coming. So the DLC will be there. But if you don't have the Supernova version, so if we just look at Galactic Civilizations 4, if I just type that in, I'm not sure if they still sell the base game on its own. Yeah, so it's to upgrade from 4 to Supernova, it's $14 Australian, so about $10 US, I'm guessing, is what you sort of expect there. That's worth doing. So if you are on Epic and you're going to be using the Epic games, like the Epic version, then definitely get the Supernova version. If you're on Steam, you don't have the option of getting the original GalCiv 4. You only have the Supernova version available to you. But yeah, so you can actually do it through that other side. Yeah, so in fact, they no longer even sell the original version. They only sell now Supernova is the actual base game now on Epic as well. So that will clean up new people who love the Epic Game Store, who sort of do want to get things. I mean, it is good to be able to get games in advance. I think they're going to stop doing what they're doing though, but that's that does sort of show what's there. And yes, the add-on will be there coming tomorrow. So I'm assuming that's going to be released tomorrow. Let's have a look and see. Any information? Just coming soon. It's not really giving much information. Yep, no, that's okay. Anyway, that's that particular one. Just leave that one alone. All right, looking at a few more things in through here. We're going to start winding things up. There's still one more game I wanted to talk about. Actually, I'll come back to that in just a minute. I'll just read these. Michael Russ is saying, felt a bit like a forced DLC to buy, but I'm not regretting it for sure, says Michael. That was for the, I'm guessing that was for the upgrade to Supernova. Supernova really is a very, very different game than the standard one. Yeah, but I'm saying if you've got Supernova DLC on Epic, you'll get everything that is on Steam. So we're saying to Michael Dross, Stardock gave me the option to take a Steam key at no extra cost for GalCiv 4, which I did. I get the Supernova version on a discount. Yeah, that's cool. I prefer Steam personally, but it's also risky having monopolies like that. Battleman's saying Supernova really is a different game. Almost everything has been reworked. It really is. It's incredibly different. Incredibly different. Difference saying AUD equals kangaroo coins. That's a good one, actually. Battleman's saying, look at Daz getting ID'd by Epic. I've got a few games on Epic, but I don't play them. I actually avoid playing on Epic. I just don't like it. I don't like that they, I don't like it. I can understand why developers get caught up in the. This would be a bit of a rant. I understand why developers will take the money, but it does such damage to the long-term prospect of their game, and because it's so hard to relaunch a year later on Steam or anywhere else for that matter, when they've had an exclusive for 12 months. And some games I know can do it, but most games don't do it very effectively. Like Old World was in that category as well. It takes a lot of work to make the game popular after a year of being released on a different platform. So as I say, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's for me, I get annoyed when a potentially great game gets squashed a little bit by it being in that sort of state. Hi Drexy, how are you going? So you can turn your Epic version to Supernova version on Steam. Yeah, there we go. So I do not answer those age questions honestly. I just answer them quickly. Kessner's saying looks like base game is taken out of At the store, only Supernova available. Yeah, that looks like it, doesn't it? At least you could on release via Stardock's site. Yeah, yep. Wolftooth is saying, okay, I only bought it on Epic because I wanted to support Stardock and got early access. Usually I just buy on Steam. We'll have to see if I can transfer to Steam and buy the Supernova edition. Yeah, have a look and see. I don't know where you find that information to do it. I know that they were doing it, but it's been a long time now since the game has come out onto Steam. So that I know that they had some sort of special deal for people in that boat. But yeah, I don't even know where you'd actually ask for that one through there. Michael's saying, yes, the new Sins of the Solar Empire is also an exclusive. Yeah, which again, that's a game that's potentially could be a really, really great game. It's going to take a lot of work again when that does release. I know that I think Epic's going to stop doing these exclusives fairly soon. It's it's like the old days of cinema. Like I've been going way back where cinemas controlled the production companies for movies controlled the different cinema chains, and so each cinema would only release the video or the movies from those particular chains, and there had to be a change, I think, from what I understand, from what I've read, in the US the government made a law that they couldn't have these exclusive rights anymore. It's almost the same feel with Epic. It sort of feels like it's the same sort of thing, where it's not good for the consumer that they have these sorts of things. It's sort of for me, I really just don't like it. It leaves a very, very sour taste in my mouth. Yeah, there's a fair few games that are exclusive, which I'm not happy about. I'm not happy about that. So Sorbic was saying people get funny about Epic when there's no need. I'll probably get Rogue Trader on it thanks to the discounts they give for the sales. See, if they are giving discounts like GOG does, for example, I like the GOG model of how it sort of operates. It differentiated itself by being able to play old games, but it now sort of has everything that or most things that Steam has got as well, and they just compete on price, and I think that's fine. It's the exclusives I don't like. It's the exclusive content. I certainly don't mind if Epic was saying, hey, we're going to offer the best deals, we're going to undercut Steam. Fantastic, because that then stops the Steam monopoly. So that would be awesome. But that's not the way that they do it. That's the only problem I have with Epic. Sorbic was saying I have the Age of Wonders 4 on Epic for the same reasons, and he prefers Steam for the convenience. Yeah. So no, it's if it's working that way for people. I mean, I find it clunky using the Epic Game Store. I'm just not used to it, so I don't really like to use it. All right, the other games I wanted to talk about. Look, there's the only other one I really wanted to mention, and really it's not coming out until next year anyway, but I will just mention it because it has been just announced this week, and because we've been talking about Warlock and all these other different sorts of things, is Master of Magic has got a new DLC coming. So we'll talk about this one as well. God, I enjoy playing this game. I really have such a fun time every time I stream it or play it. It is really, really cool. Scourge of the Seas is a new DLC that's coming. Now it's coming. I actually know the date, but I don't think I'm allowed to talk about the date, so I better not mention it. I have inside information about this, and I'm looking forward to it. And so we can have a look at some of these things as well. Let's just go back out. This again, there's nothing other than screenshots and through here. So what this is going to do is it's going to make the sea in Arcanus and also in the Mirror Plane much more fleshed out. So there's going to be more reasons to go and do things with the oceans. We're going to have different types of units. We're going to have different types of terrain, different types of benefits as well within the actual sea areas. So there's a lot of work being done on this just to enhance this version of it. So as we have a bit of a look through, Big Bertha is a wow. This is going to be someone really hard to kill off. I got to say, I do find the heroes just too hard. I would love to see them more powerful when you first get them and less powerful where they end up. It's just, for me, the actual overall balance of them it becomes unbalanced, and this is a case in point where this one does look a bit crazy with all this resistance back and through here. So anyway, these are going to be new sorts of heroes that we'd then be getting. Different one in through there, a sea creature. This is just an actual creature, not a hero. So don't know what that one's attached to. Just trying to figure that one out through this other side. Yeah, looks good though. Looks good. So this is like some sort of seaweed monster, I guess. You've got Tritons or Scourge of Cavalry. So I think there's I don't know if there's a new faction as such, but there are certainly going to be different units. This one can go on land as well. It can fly? That doesn't make sense. I guess it's got sort of wings. Anyway, that's different types of units. This is Slithers, the Sea Scourge. This looks cool. This looks powerful too. Actually, this is another hero. This looks better in terms of what you'd expect from a hero. But anyway, that's pretty cool. Casting spells, so there'll be new spells, I'm guessing. Sea Harvest transmutes a sea resource to provide plus 10 to casting skill progress. Yeah, there we go. So it's a new spells coming. So you'll be able to pick up more things now in the ocean when you actually build your cities, which I haven't looked at this before. So yeah, these are the different sorts of benefits you're going to be able to pick up once you do actually have a city in there. It's almost like the two hexes from the center is almost not enough anymore. It almost needs to be 3. Let's go next again. But it does look good. It does look like it's going to be interesting to sort of see what they do bring in. This looks like a combat that's happening on the turn 1 of 50. So neutral units, sort of sea-based units, and we do actually have sea-based creatures here as well. That makes it look like it's actually a new faction. But there is a faction in there as well. This is again a turn 1 of 20. I wonder why it's got 20 and not 50. I haven't noticed that before in any other combat in the game. So it's back to 50 again here. And this, I think, is like some sort of kraken or something. Yeah, the kraken's tentacle. Looking through here with a Paragon ghost ship. So these are new factions. There must be a new faction. Let's have a look and see what it says, because I haven't really read much about it. So Scourge of the Seas comes alive. So this was only just been released this week. So adventurers, prepare for an enchanting voyage into a realm where the sea wields its sorceress something. It's not finished yet. It's not finished. Master of Magic adventurers prepare for an enchanting voyage in the realm where the sea wields a sorceress might with the Masters of Magic Scourge of the Seas. Okay, so it cut off the last little bit of that one. There's no video to see. We're driving deep into the watery depths to reveal some exciting new features centered around the sea and its mysteries. 3 new water layers. So the seas are alive with adventure. In Scourging the Seas, we'll introduce 3 brand new water layers that will take your explanation to the next level. That's good. So these will be ones where we can get loot from. Reef Island, okay, Wind Caves, Pirate Scum, and Terrifying Boss Layers. As if the new water layers weren't enough, the oceans themselves spawn 2 terrifying boss layers, 1 on each plane. Each boss layer is a treasure trove of loot, a custom-made battle map with unique combat challenges, and a monstrous kraken boss. Defeating these titans of the deep will reward you with a unique wizard trait that can't be obtained anywhere else. Cool. Okay, that's interesting. So this thing is where we end up with that particular fight coming back through. So they're coming in with some sort of sky drake down the bottom through there. So flying units will be able to access it. So water resources. These aren't just for adventuring; they're also valuable resources for shore up your city, such as pearls, reefs, and fish. So this will now sort of give us more benefit for building on the coastlines. New arcane spell. Where are we getting this ship from, though? I don't know how on earth we get the ship, because it's not a new faction. So this is new water layers. The seas won't just be for tranquil expanse. These pirate scum will be unleashed upon both the seas and the land, creating chaos for the wizards. Brace yourself for thrilling confrontations and expect encounters with these maritime marauders. That's cool. That's going to be cool as well. But how are they? Because this is a player ship because of the colour. So somehow, I don't know how they got this ship, because it's not mentioned in here. Yeah, there's nothing mentioned about how to get these extra units. Anyway, I guess we'll find out. To make the most of the newfound sea resource, a powerful new arcane spell will be a disposal spell that allows wizards to harvest sea resources that fall outside of the city catchment. That's good, ensuring that nothing goes to waste in your coastal dominion. We hope you're as excited, blah, blah, blah. So the seas await, the adventuring is just beginning. Okay, so that's coming soon, which I'll be able to tell you more about in the coming, well, next year, I guess. I'll be able to talk about it a bit more often. That is actually sort of coming. So, oh, that's right, we're going to talk about Soviet workers as well. So I do actually have, I haven't opened it up. I've got workers and resources of the Soviet Republic. Let's have a look at it up in the, because that is coming as well. This is actually something that, if we just get rid of that one. This is Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic, back and through here. This looks interesting. It's a city builder. It looks quite, I might actually play the video of this one with the sound. So it's a little bit dystopian, which is cool. Now I haven't played City Skylines, so this will be naturally compared to that. And so I don't know where this would sort of sit in that sort of realm. Also, the city builder that I really do like at the moment is what's Against the Storm, which is fairly different. This is, I think, much more in the City Skylines type aspect of it. That was interesting. They were actually slowly building the stuff that wasn't just automatically placed. It looks very detailed. You can see the complexity actually in the detail inside there. Wow, even the speed of the trains. Great multiple complex simulations. It does look very interesting actually. Yeah, so that does look very good. And you can see there the very positive, it's 92%, and overwhelmingly positive, so 97% in through there. There's a little warning that says this product has experienced one or more periods of off-topic review activity. Based on your preferences, the reviews within these periods have been excluded from this product's review score. And of course, that would be the war in Ukraine. Would have been sort of like, would have caused a variance there in the actual in the results. But this is these numbers are incredible, like 92%, 97%. That's really quite amazing. Let's read a few of these in through here. We've got hang on, back here again. I'll just pause that. So still saying that they bought that ship off the pirates. Cassina saying Workers and Resources is pretty good. Been enjoying a modded version with a 1900 start, a horse cart time period. Okay, but I'm saying that Dazo Soviet Republic, it's awesome. Best city builder I've played by a long way. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because for me it's been Against the Storm has been the best one, but that's because it's more of a roguelike city builder, whereas this one looks like it's much more detailed. And Janox is saying, I've seen a lot of Workers and R before, and it's neat. It's been saying I ain't played for a few years, so it must have come a long way. It's way more complex than any other city builder. Really requires knowledge of game mechanics to do well. Toothpaste scarcity simulator, says Davidson. Janox is saying you can build up the whole resource chain from gravel to electricity. Wow. Okay, I enjoy that actually. So Dimmerson saying buy essentials for your friends before you shop, doesn't have it. I guess I'm saying fun thing about WNR is you can turn off mechanics on and off. Don't want to deal with water, turn it off. Waste, turn it off. Okay, that's cool as well. Tom was saying, big fan of workers and resources. This is great stuff, guys. Thanks for letting me know about this. Caston saying, to do what I do, go full realistic and hard mode in the 1900s. Base game has its start year of 1960, but with mods you can go earlier. Okay, and Dumerson saying a ruble saved is a ruble saved is a ruble earned. Benjamin Franklin of Caston saying Song of Sticks, another colony builder, also has a new release out, I think. I won't keep on. We'll better do our giveaway, so I won't go off to look at other games. So Chris is saying have to dash. Thanks for the usual stream. So Chris, if you're still there, do you want me to put you in the competition or not? Just let me know. Yeah, we have gone a little bit over time today. Anyway, that's looking good, and this one rates very, very well. Now, why was I told about it? Why did the Hooded Horse talk to me about it? Because, greetings dear commanders, comrades of the Soviet Republic and fans of our game worldwide. As the year draws to a close, our thoughts turn to the festive holiday season. It's been a full year of development and progress, itching us ever closer to the final release of our game. We're not there yet, but the strides we've made are undeniable, and we're committed to pushing forward until everything is just right. Full report. Okay, so I think it's just that it's if you haven't looked at the game for a while, it's sort of like apparently there's a lot more content in there. So there is actually stories that are off into here. But I think I may have been talking to a Hooded Horse about some other games, and then they said, "Hey, look, this is really cool." So anyway, I haven't played it yet, but by all accounts, it does look good, and it's great to hear that you guys are also. There's been no negative comments about it at all, so that's interesting. It's very, very interesting and very heartening to sort of to hear that from you guys as well. So let's finish off this with having a quick look at the Steam news. I just want to make sure I haven't forgotten anything, just because of the lead into Christmas. I want to make sure. Actually, also, I don't know what to do next week because it is going to be Christmas Day, and I don't know how many people will still be around. Whether it's a good, I know that like for me, I wake up before everyone in my household, so Christmas Day for me is the time I'm normally on the computer is the time when no one else is around anyway. So I'll probably still do something, but I don't know what that will actually how that will actually be. Caston's saying, I think Hooded Horse just picked up WNR in the past 2 to 3 months for publishing. Oh, okay, well that would make sense then. That's why they've contacted me about it. So Sizzle's saying that that's exactly how the USSR tried to solve the problem. They did not like not enough power, turn it off. Too much dissidence, turn it off. Anyway, so back in here, let's just go back into our library and have a quick look across. New update for Retro Commander, workers and resources. So that's just yesterday. We just read that one out. Old World. What have we got there? We've got Dynasty's DLC announced. Okay, so there's that's going to be released in January. We were talking about Old World just very, very briefly. This is one that did come through the Epic Game Store. So that's something that I'll look to see if I can get hold of that DLC to show that one next year. So we won't talk about that one right now. Against the Storm is Steam Deck verified. So this is, again, Against the Storm, Great City Builder. Desynced, I haven't played that one. I've got it, but I haven't really played it. Nikis, we actually gave that one away last week. So new multiplayer trailer, play together across the worlds. This was actually this week, but the announcement of it, we managed to do that one last week, so I won't go back through Nikis again. Xenonauts has now got the new stable version. This is milestone 2, and then 0.19, and so I think it's 0.20 at the moment that I'm playing. Just skim past these. We mentioned Solaris Nexus. I haven't gone in and played this one yet, but it does look very, very good, so I'm looking forward to getting into that one. Zero Sievert has now had a major update as well. I think I covered that one last week. GalCiv 4, there's one of Ben's videos, I think that's one of Ben's, so play your way. Yeah, so that's all we needed to really talk about. In terms of stuff I've been playing, there's not really much in there just this week. To be honest, all I've really been playing this week has been Dominion 6 and Xenonauts. With a little bit of Distant Worlds too, but that's not much really. Not much really. Anyway, so let's do the giveaway. So what we'll do is I'll close that one down and go to Nightbot and log in. And so again, this is for revival recolonization, and I'll just get you to type in if you do want to be in the running for this one. The giveaways, keyword, I'll just put the word win. If you just type win in the chat, I'll just go and fill up my drink, and when I come back, we'll then sort of run the competition, run the marble run. So we'll just get that all ready. I'll just get the names ready as well. All right, okay, I'll be right back. Now, there was a question, Serenity, saying, are you finding Dom 6 much of an improvement over Dom 5? I've got to be careful what I do say, but yes. And Van was saying, you're doing a Game of the Year video again. I really look forward to those. Yeah, I will do it. Yeah, sort of, it's one of those things I actually don't like doing them, but there has been so many great games. I do want to try to do something, but it'll take me a couple of days to actually figure it all out. So yeah, I will do that. I will have to do that. Yeah, I was trying to think. I've got to do better with the way that I actually record games, so that I can actually just go back through a list of recordings and go, oh, okay, well, yeah, this one type thing. But yeah, we'll actually have a look. Okay, so this is saying, I just want to win because it's my birthday, but I already have the game, so we'll have to give it back after. So Cecil, are you in it? You are in it. Okay. All right. So let's leave it. We only got 22 players today, so we've got a lowish number. Yeah. Okay. No one's put anything else in there for a little bit of time, so we'll just go and grab these, and we'll just go back across. And edit, replace, actually where is it, find and replace. Okay, save, no one else has done anything, that's good. Minimize that, marble run. So good luck, not very many players today. Yeah, so I don't think I'll do a ChatTactic next week. I think I'll just do something different, but I'll still do it here on YouTube. Maybe a bit earlier than what I... Yeah, it should have to be earlier than what I normally start these. So it'll probably be a couple of hours earlier, because I'm going to have to go... I have to be away before now in my time. Okay, so let's go in and we will go to race. Then we go to Grand Prix. And we'll go 3 maps, race settings, use custom names, clear them out, open, finish, and we've just got 22. Using bots. Okay, so that's now done. So good luck, guys. We are, yeah, we'll see who actually wins the key for this game. So there we go. What have we got this time? Taking Flight Original. All right, here we go. Start race. Did we have this one last week? I think we did. Looks very, very familiar. Taking Flight makes it sound like there's going to be some people falling off the wayside through here. So we've got out in front is Roger, Antonio, Michael, Serenity, Hugh coming back through. Oh, Hugh's gone. Hugh's out. The others are through. Bubicus is gone as well. So Roger is now screaming straight through. No, Antonio's now going through. Hit in through there. Okay, no one else has fallen off yet. Yep, no one else behind. Now this looks dangerous. If we don't get a few losses here, I'll be surprised. Getting close to the end here. Chond is going to win the first one. Antonio is going to come in second. Serenity coming in after that. Yep. So Chond is the first one into the winners pool there. Castanar looks like he's dropped off. Yes, Castanar's out. So that was a quick game. This one. Sithel's still way back. Okay, you do want to finish if you can get. You do get points for finishing, I believe. Okay, we've got Sithel's, Sorbicol and Dumison just mucking around at the back there. Here they come. Are they all through? No, they're not. Benjamin is back there with Sissel. So now here comes the aspect at the back there, which will then finish off the map. Are these going to make it? I think Benjamin's through, but Sithel's still mucking around. Mucking around, going to get trapped here. Yep, too late. So Sissel has been burnt up. So Chond 813 is the winner. So congratulations on the first race. All right, so we had a fair few that didn't finish. Next map. Okay, that's the first of the Grand Prix. Twisting Tumble. This one also sounds like there could be some people falling off it. So, oh wow, this is not a one I've seen before. So again, good luck. It's got a toon shader. Just wait for the first one to come back through. It's going through the tunnel. I think this is a new one for us. I don't think we've seen a toon shader with the Marble Run before. Whoa, everyone's out. They're all coming straight down. Now, got this big cannon, which is going to be firing everyone through. So who's going to be the first one through? Around the corners. Castanar out in front over this way. Hard to tell who's in the front over the other side. Looks like Reed. And Paul Kavek, Monkey Shine. Here we go. Actually, Monkey Shine's leading the other side. Now, what's going to happen with these? Is everyone... I don't think anyone's going to miss. Yep, looks like we're all through. And then back through the loops. So it looks like Castanar, Mad Hat, Monkey Shine on this side, and we've got Michael on the other side. Now, it's going to be interesting. Will Michael actually win, be able to beat the others as they come back through? And yes, he will. No, yes, he will he? He's going to drop in first. It's a bit hard to see what's going on. Here we go. Actually, who was first? Monkey Shine was first. Mad Hat, Raven Desk, Castanar, everyone's finishing all in one big lump at the moment. Okay, so Monkey Shine wins that one. So congratulations on that particular win. Final race, final map. Cause of Power. Good luck, guys. Good luck. This just sounds ominous. This one looks good too, doesn't it? Now, there are zapping, but I don't know what the zapping will end up actually doing. So it's going to be the first one down. Oh, we got one that went down. Here we go. Now we've got little portals, which is changing where people go. Wow, this is intricate. I think I'm just going to pick one of these and just follow it through. It looks great. See, there's people already down the bottom. Monkey Shine back over there. Just got a few of the others. So these actually coming through, or are these finished? I'm not sure where we're supposed to be going now. So Antonio's fallen off, Mike's fallen off, so a few of them are actually leaving. There's Bubicus. So it's not an easy map. Let's just sort everyone out. Here's Benjamin. He's gone. Here's the end. Here's the end. Oh, we've already got a few winners. Serenity actually won that one. Chond, Monkey Shine again. So Monkey Shine was in the top 3 of this one. That's going to make Monkey Shine difficult to be able to compete against. This is a good looking map. Very complex. There goes William. William's gone. Lost his 9th spot. Okay, Dumerson's in 8th. 3 more players to come in. Jamison's in. Paul got destroyed, and Legit Spoon's in as well. There we go. So Serenity won that one. So congratulations on winning the 3rd race. And we'll now just finish off the Grand Prix. Okay, so coming in 3rd was Chond 813. Coming in 2nd place was Monkey Shine. This doesn't seem right to me. Monkey Shine, unless the points were different. I really thought Monkey Shine was going to win that. But Serenity does actually win. That's the order of the races. I wonder if there's more points for the last race. I'm going to have to figure out. I'm going to have to look up how the points actually do work. But anyway, congratulations, Serenity, for winning the key. I mean, we just go with the results. There's no protests or anything like that. So congratulations. What I'll get you to do is, if you don't mind, going across, and I'll just type in Daz at daztactic.com. So if you can email me, I can then send you the key for the game. So Serenity, if you can just shoot me an email. If I don't hear from you within a week, basically, I will then just put the key back into the pool. So I don't sort of keep track of what's actually going on with that one through there. Where's my pitchfork, says Monkey Shine. Yeah, I think you were diddled out. In my opinion, you were diddled out because you got into the top 3 of that last one as well. But it doesn't see, the points don't really sort of show up. So I'm not exactly sure how that one does work. Anyway, that's the way it works. And Dumerson saying stay safe at the beach, Daz. Yeah, no, it's really nice. It's really hot at the moment, so it's and it's been quite pleasant in the water. So I'm looking forward to it. So they're saying, I protest. This game was mean to me on my birthday. Yes, it was. That's you came in 19th. That's just the way it goes. Welcome to life. Life is hard. Anyway, guys, I will leave it there. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week. I won't do a chat tactic. I'll do something different. Maybe play a game. I'll have to think about what to do. You've got any suggestions? You reach me on Discord. That's probably the best way to sort of think about things. But and I don't even know how many people will be around next week on Christmas Day. So I'm not expecting very many people. But anyway, we'll see what we can get up to. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.